Welcome. Let us start Cooperative Societies Act as far as audit and accounts are concerned, accounts and audits are concerned. Now I had requested you to write, so many of you are written? Yes. All are written. You can just go through that, just verify. Now let us go to today we will just concentrate on what are the documents required when we do the audit. Very important is documents. So we need to check what are the documents required. So we'll straight away go. There is an Annexure 4 which is given in our Cooperative Societies Audit Manual, where information and documents will be collected from the society by the auditor. So straight away, what are the documents required to be collected? The first document is, of course, regarding the information of the society. So the information is name of the society, financial, which you have to conduct the audit. Once you get this, the information is, one is appointment letter of the auditor along with the resolution. So first and foremost, we have to get the appointment letter. This appointment is governed under section 81 of the MCS Act. So that means when we are taking the appointment, we should know that we are in the panel of auditor, and in that panel there is A, B, C category of the auditor. Depending on the qualification, on the experience, we are categorized into A class, B class, C class. So when we are taking up the audit, we should see whether we are falling in that category. For A class auditor, they can do the A class societies, B class auditor can do B class societies, C class auditor can do C class of societies. So we need to verify one. Secondly, when we are taking the appointment letter for any society audit, we should see who was the earlier auditor. If the earlier auditor is whether is a chartered accountant or whether is a government certified auditor, still it will be advisable to communicate to them. We may be avoiding communicating with the earlier auditor if he is not a CA. But honestly, we can, as a standard practice, we should also write a letter to him that so and so person has appointed us as a auditor. So that can be in the form of email, or any communication has to be there. You can speak to them and then write a letter. So one appointment letter with the auditor along with the resolution plus information to the earlier auditor that we have been appointed for the current year. The other thing which we have to see is, of course, which we will see later, the auditor cannot do the audit for more than 3 years. The same auditor cannot do the audit for more than 3 years. So who are the last 3 years audit done? If we have done the same audit in the last 3 years, then 4th year we should not accept. So up to 3 years we can appoint. So this appointment letter is very important, and it can be a simple appointment letter that authorizing you to carry out the audit as per the resolution passed in the general body meeting. So appointment has to be in the general body meeting. It cannot be in the managing committee meeting. The delegation cannot happen to the managing committee. Many of the societies give the delegation. That means they authorize the managing committee to appoint the auditor, which is not legally correct. General information about the society as per Annexure A. So there are various information to obtain from the society, which is given in Annexure A, which we will see little later. So we have to collect Annexure A. So we will see Annexure A to S. So many annexures to be collected. Copy of the society registration certificate, approved bylaws, PAN, TAN, VAT, service tax, provident fund, professional tax registration under relevant act, including license of RBI for banking business or branches opening. So in the case of banking and all, we can look for the banking license. But as far as housing society is concerned, we normally don't insist this registration certificate, approved bylaws. Honestly speaking, we need to verify that. We have to at least have a copy of that. The reason is, many times the society do not have the registration certificate, and we don't know whether that was registered or not registered. Somebody may have some registration number and create a letterhead, and they may come to us, possible. And approved bylaws, many societies they don't have the approved bylaws. They give us a model bylaws and we simply keep quiet. So these are the other additional documents which you can always call for if there is a PAN, TAN and all. Okay? These are the information which you have to collect from the society. Certified copy of the last year's audited accounts along with the audit report, Annexure AGM annual report copy. Now what happens is, when we do the audit, it is very important to go with the last year's audit report. In the last year audit report, what are the objections that we have taken, what are the suggestions that has been given by the auditor, along with the audit report and accounts. So what are the accounts head, and those can be compared. So we have to take a certified copy of that certified by maybe chairman, secretary of the society. Annual return as per section 79(1)(a) and 79(1)(b) of immediately preceding year. Now what happens if the last year accounts is taken, we also need to ask for the annual returns. Now many of the societies are, even today they are not filing the annual returns. So, but I am seeing even in the audit report we don't mention. These are the mandatory returns. If you go through section 79(1)(a) and 79(1)(b) of the Act, it says what are the things to be actually looked into, what are the things you need to, there are 6 types of returns which need to be filed. So we have to ask, if they have not done it, at least before the audit, we can ask them to file it. See, it has to be filed within 6 months of the close of the corporate year. We can go through section 79(1)(a) for the simplicity. So this return is a must. 79(1)(b) is regarding the appointment of auditor. Return regarding the appointment of auditor. Section 79(1)(a) is about 6 types of return which need to be filed. So if those are not filed, then we need to guide them that please do complete that. If there is no, it has to be done online, of course. If there are no online, at least you have to see that offline at least is submitted. Section 79(1)(a), there is a new section which was inserted. The registrar may direct any society or class of society to keep proper in such form, including electronic or any other form. So it says in such form, including electronic form, that is online, or any other form as may be prescribed, with respect to all sums of money received and expended by the society, and the matter in respect of which the receipt and expenditure takes place, all sales, purchase of goods by the society, and the assets and liabilities of the society, and to furnish such statements and returns to produce such records as may require from time to time, and for the officer or the officer of the society shall be bound to comply with this his order within the period specified therein. So what are the things? Every society shall file a returns within 6 months. Within 6 months of the close of every financial year to which such accounts relate, to the registrar or to the person authorized by him. The return shall contain the following matters, namely annual reports of its activities. So annual report of activity, there is a format given in online, so they can fill up that. Its audited statements of account. Plans for disposal of surplus funds as approved by the general body of the society. List of amendments to the bylaws of the society if any. Declaration regarding date of holding of its general body meetings and conduct of elections when due. Any other information required by the registrar in pursuance of any of the provisions of the Act. So there are 6 types of return which need to be filed. So nowadays the registrar, the societies, they don't do it because there is no online provision. So at least at the time of audit, we call for the information. If it is not there, tell them that please fill up. You may charge them fees if you want, but get it done. So at least by getting it done, you can say before the audit, I want it to be done, so that I can write in my audit report that on so and so date, because online was not functioning, on so and so date it has been submitted. So that physically it has been submitted. So what happens is, in the audit report, this remark is removed, and they will know that next year, once the audit is done, immediately they have to fill up. So this will be a orientation to them. 79(1)(b), again, many of us don't look into. That also need to be done. Whether we are going through that? Achha, every society shall also file a return regarding the names of the auditor or auditing firm from a panel approved by the state government in this BAP, appointed in the general body meeting, together with his written consent within a period of 1 month from the date of annual general body meeting. Once the annual general body meeting is done, you have to give a return of appointment of the auditor within 30 days. Whether, I don't think we do that. Many of the societies, they don't do. If certain things are not complied as required under the law, naturally it means that you are not fulfilled the obligations what has been cast on you. Suppose something you are required to do and you are not doing, that means there has to be certain actions to be initiated against you, correct? What are the actions that is initiated? That is what you are asking. So first and foremost, that means one, the registrar will give a show cause notice saying that you are required as a chairman, secretary or as a managing committee, you are supposed to do this. Okay, you are not done. Because you are not done, that means you have violated the act, provisions of the act. You are not complied with the requirement. You are not fulfilled your duties. Once you are not fulfilled your duties, that means you are liable for action, correct? What is the action? The first and foremost action is they can be penalized. Now, who has to pay that penalty? Naturally, the person who is responsible and accountable from their own pocket. It cannot come from the society. Secondly, they can also be removed from the committee. Because you are not fulfilled, then they are removed from the committee. So there are various provisions which is called section 78, one section. Then section 146 and section 147. Section 146 says what are the offences and section 147 talks about what are the penalties. So if something which is required under the act, if you are not fulfilled, then it is called an offence, and once it is decided that this is an offence, then you can be levied penalty or you can be removed from the committee. So therefore, as an auditor, suppose we don't report certain non-compliance, then we are also accountable and responsible. How we will be accountable and responsible? One, we will be given a show cause notice as an auditor that you have not seen properly. Secondly, we also can be removed from the panel. Once we are removed from the panel, then coming back in the panel will be difficult because that is a strictures passed against you, and naturally next time they will not put you in the panel also. Then you will not be able to do the cooperative audit because you are done wrong. Now you may say that out of say 11,000, 15,000 auditor, how many auditors are doing? That is not important. Whether somebody is doing or not is immaterial. But if you are caught in not complying with your duties, then you will be accountable and responsible. ठीक है? किसी ने किया, किसी ने नहीं किया, कितने लोग करते, कितने लोग नहीं करते, 90% नहीं करते नहीं होंगे, but 10% तो करते हैं. So we should be a part of that 10% who is doing. Otherwise, we can be accountable and responsible. सब लोग नहीं करते, इसके लिए हम भी नहीं करते हैं. Which means क्या होगा? उससे हमारा काम रुक सकता है. We may be removed from the panel. So therefore, at least हमारा ड्यूटी क्या बनता है कि जो कायदा में लिखा है, at least we are able to tell them. Now why we are doing this list of requirement, so that उनको हम बता पाएंगे. ये जब लिस्ट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट उनको देंगे कि आपको ये सब देना है, अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर देना है, रिटर्न फाइल किया हुआ देना चाहिए, तो बराबर ना, उससे क्या होगा, एटलीस्ट दे विल नो that these are the requirement and you can also explain them. Appointment letter, general information, copy of registration, annual report. Now financial statement duly adopted by the board of directors or the managing committee. So the accounts balance sheet, they have to approve in the managing committee, and this has to be in form number N. Have you seen form number N? The auditors, you have seen form number N for all types of society except cooperative bank, because cooperative bank is governed by the Banking Regulation Act, so that is not there. We have a separate profit and loss account balance sheet to be made, but for all other types of society, including housing society, it should be in form number N. Of course, whatever we are doing, those are all in form number N, there is no problem. Okay? But still, you can just, as a matter of curiosity, you can go through that form. List of amendment made in the bylaws. When we talk about any forms, where these forms are available, these forms are available in the rules. See, if you see all the forms, whether it is income tax, whether it is any law, the forms are always available in rules. The Act gives you the provisions and the rules gives you the procedural. In the procedural aspect, there are forms. So prescribed forms are in the rules. List of amendments. So this is also whether you have done the amendment or you have not done the amendment. So therefore, If there is an amendment which has been done, you have to take that list of amendment done. So nahi hai, so then you say there is no amendment. Okay, but what was the last bylaws that has to be obtained? Why it happens in the lot of general body meeting, they pass the resolution that we have adopted the new model bylaw. Once they say that we have adopted the new model bylaws, what they need to do, that bylaws need to be submitted to the registrar for his approval signature within 2 months from the date of passing the resolution. And if they don't submit to the registrar within 2 months, that resolution or adopting or making amendment to the bylaws becomes lapsed. They cannot submit to the registrar. Then they have to once again call a special general body meeting or general body meeting, and in that it has to be approved. Whenever the amendment takes place, the general body has to have a notice of how many days? 14 days. Even if it is a special general body meeting to amend the bylaws, that also need to be minimum 14 days clear notice, which means the date of the meeting and the date of the notice should be excluded. In between there has to be 14 days notice. So one has to look at it. That is given in section 13 of the Act. List of overdues in case of cooperative credit society is fine, but even in the case of housing society, you can also take a list of overdues which are more than 3 months, and then you can say what are the action initiated. If they have not taken the action, at least we can say at least issue a notice. Now that you have given me the audit, we will give you the format of the notice. So at least send the first notice and tell us that you have issued the notice. So at least we can say that these are the defaulters to whom the society has issued the notice. List of other advances including anamat along with the date of advance given to the employees and others. So there may be some advances in the books of account given to the employees, security guards or vendors. So you can take the list and why it has been given, in which general body or managing committee the resolution has been passed. See, whenever any decisions are taken of giving the advance or issuing the notice, there has to be or amendment of bylaws, or all this has to be in a particular resolution. So when we are asking for the minutes book, I don't know how many of we are really going through the minutes book. So at least you have to ask them, give me the date of the minutes. So at least you are able to tell them that whether you are recorded or not recorded. So from them only we get the information and we can ask for the filling. But I know many of the housing societies are very much skeptical, or they don't want to give all this information. But then as a matter of record, at least we have to obtain them. List of balance of personal area as per schedule and balance sheet. Dues from the members which we have to take, along with of course the trial balance or balance sheet. Then bank reconciliation statement, which of course we prepare. We obtain the bank statement, and if there is any difference between the balance in the bank passbook and in our ledger, we do reconcile and find out why there is a difference. List of vehicle expenses incurred along with the logbook. Of course, in a housing society we do not have that list of vehicles and expenses incurred on that, so that you can ignore. List of movable and immovable property, yes, this can be in, there is a form Q, okay, we can go with that form Q and we can obtain the list of movable and immovable. There can be a computer, there can be chairs, furnitures or immovable property like flats, society office, land and building. List of movable immovable products sold during the year. If there is any sale, scrap sale or anything, if there is resolution and the amount incurred. List of active members and non-active members, this is now not available or not required. Now it is a list of only members in J form. There is no J1, J2 form, there is only one J form. Now you can go for the list of members. Statement of general information and working. This list of members are required so that you can verify with the share capital. What is the share capital and what is the number of members? Is it matching? Statement of general information working of the society, which of course activity of the society we can see. Statement of verification of cash and securities. There is a annexure B which gives you verification of cash and securities by board or authorized person of the board. So we can obtain a cash certificate. I don't know whether we are taking or not. So cash certificate on the letterhead of the society can be obtained, saying that we have verified the cash and this is the List, especially this is helpful when the cash on hand is more than 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. So we know that somebody is accountable and responsible. And they are also aware that there is so much cash on hand. List of loans and advances to the director and directly along with the overdue if any. There is an Annexure G. This is more applicable to credit societies and cooperative bank. But even in our case, society, housing society, if there are such advances, we can see. Other advances given to the directors, travelling advance, anamat or any other advance, which of course if it is there. Demand collection and balance statement, this is Annexure H. This is where we have something called, bill register, where the demands have been raised, what is the money has come and the outstanding. So even the ledger account is more than enough. Bill collection registers are normally maintained by the housing society manually, but now everything is computerized. So this you may avoid. Schedule of investment and confirmation statement. If there are any investment in the fixed deposit or in any securities, so you will have to get the confirmation from the bank. The format is in Annexure I. So these are the documents need to be collected. Then schedule of NPA, of course if it is there. In the housing society it is not there. Schedule of directors who are absent for more than 3 months of the board meeting. Do we take this? We don't take. So why it is required? So that the directors, whether they have taken a leave of absence, whether the leave of absence is given, if the director is more than 3 months absent, 3 consecutive meetings, that means he is not taking active part and then action can be initiated against him and it becomes warning to the societies. Statement of misappropriation. If there are no misappropriation, then we have to take an annexure from them, nil statement. There is no embezzlement as far as they are concerned. Of course, we will also verify, but at least we have taken an authentication, because now we write there is no misappropriation, there is no fraud. But even a statement from them can also be obtained because they are doing the day-to-day affairs. So there is an Annexure M. Schedule of arbitration execution court cases. If there are any court cases in Annexure O, we can take the court cases matter so that we will be able to comment on that. Many societies have different litigations pending in different courts. List of managing committee, board of directors along with the designation. So Annexure F gives us the list of managing committee. We are obtaining it, and also when the election happened and their designation. List of subcommittee if it is there. List of managing committee, managers, chief executive. If there is any manager or any officer, we can take the list of those managers. Cash and check voucher file, deposit slips for maintenance check deposit, cash check receipt register, bill and receipt register, petty cash register, books of account to be kept ready, day book, cash book, all that, all personal ledgers. So if there are personal ledgers, all committee and AGM minutes book, at least we need to see how many managing committee meetings are held, what are the important decisions taken. One line, decisions if we can compile and take from them, it also helps us. Just at a cursory glance, last 12 months, how many meetings happened? Per page, you can ask what are the decisions taken. Maybe 1 decision, 2 decisions, so that important decisions we can ask them. Even in the AGM, what are the decisions taken? See, normally the decision taken and action taken report. So that means this is the decision, how you have implemented, action taken, okay, and or the decision implemented, you can write when the decision was implemented or not implemented, how it is implemented. Suppose general body has decided to go for major repairs, okay, and whether that has been implemented or not implemented. So at least in the report we can say these are the decisions taken which has not been implemented. Bank passbook statement with balance confirmation, property register, investment register, stock book, movable property register, demand collection balance register, many times it has come. Liquidity register, share register, member register in I form, list of members in J form, audit rectification report. So there is an audit rectification register also. I don't know whether we are seeing that or not. So at least they should maintain a register in which audit rectification what is given can be pasted. But at least that we can see. Bank reconciliation statement, bank balance confirmation, TDS certificate if they are there. General body and managing committee minutes book we have seen. IJ form register, investment register, property register, audit activation register, model bylaws as per model bylaw, list of share certificate pending for issuance. So you can ask, is there any members whose share certificate is to be transferred? Is there anything pending for membership? So that we will know why that is pending. Some membership is given, they have kept pending. List of pending share transfer, refund, if they are there. Provisions for outstanding expenses, list of outstanding expenses, if they are there, you can ask them. Prepaid expenses, files for submitted supporting verification. Any contract for purchase of fixed asset repairs, any tender documents. TDS service tax, VAT professional tax, provident fund if they are there. List of committee members which we have already seen. Any policy documents including information system audit, of course it is not there. But if there is any policy or rules for parking or anything you can take. Management report we have to take, which we are taking. Concurrent audit report if it is there, of course it is all for the banks and other things. Statement of bank reconciliation, balance confirmation as per Schedule C. And list of employees, Annex E. Schedule of loans and advances to the members on 31st March including overdue in Annex N. Schedule of closing stock, of course this is not applicable for housing societies. So these are the things. Loans taken by the society, if there are any loans taken from the members in case of self-redevelopment and all, we know housing societies take the loan from the members and outsiders, investors. List of directors who were absent for more than 3 that we have seen in L, Annex L. Contracts or any transaction in which a director or relatives are interested. Cases filed by the society for recovery and other dues. So these are the various documents. At least we have listed about 57 documents. At least this printout you are able to give them as a checklist and ask them that please submit this. Whatever they are giving, it's fine. If they are not giving, our auditor who is spending some time can call for these informations so that it becomes easier, documented. Something is not available, okay, it is not available, but we can always request them. You want to modify this for the purpose of housing society, you can little bit modify this. You can keep it in the word and modify what is not required. Cases filed the society is required. Contract is required because there can be repair contract, there can be AMC contract. Who are absent, it is required. Loan taken by the society is required. All this. Now let us go to the annexures. See, general information of the society. These are the information which we need to give in the audit report also. So if we are able to collect it. Now in the case of a society, housing society area of operation is the survey number where the society is situated. Class of society, whether it is a tenant co-partnership, tenant ownership or premises society, nature of activity of the society, main objects as per the bylaws, number of members as on 31st March, so that you can verify name of the chairman, vice chairman, if there is an executive officer, branches, number of employees, last 3 years audit classification. All this information we can ask for. Annexure B, statement of verification of cash and securities. So the board of directors need to verify and give the certificate. So they can say, statement of verification of cash. We hereby state and certify that the cash of so and so is physically held in the head office, branches, sales depot of the society. We obtained the balance certificate from the concerned officials and having verified the cash on so and so, 31st so and so. So this is the certificate given by the management. Okay, and who is holding that cash? We have also verified the security. This is regarding the verification of security. If there is any security that you need to verify, especially fixed deposit, you can take this. We hereby state that we are holding a fixed deposit in so and so bank. We have physically verified. It is in the custody of so and so. आप पूछ सकते हो किसके custody में है, secretary का है, chairman का है. Okay. So this, and we have accounted for the interest on that. Annexure C, statement of bank reconciliation. You know bank reconciliation. How many banks are there? If 2-3 banks are there, reconciliation statement, yes or no. If there is no reconciliation, at least you can prepare there is no reconciliation. It balance is matching. Annexure D, list of members. So name of the member, address, class of the member, whichever is there in the J form, it can happen. List of active and non-active members, now it is not applicable. So now all members are considered as active members. List of non-active members not applicable. Now list of employees, you can take the details, so serial number, name of the employee, designation, date of appointment. See, this gives you certain structured way of collecting the documents. List of managing committee meetings, directions along with the designation. So who are the members, under which category they have been elected, and whether they are the expert directors, their mobile number, you can ask for the details. Then G, list of loans and advances taken, relatives. These are the name of the director, nature of relation, amount sanctioned. Annexure H, demand collection balance, name of the member raised during the year. Of course, this you may ask for the ledger closing balance of the members. From there you will be able to know how much demand has been, how much collection has been done. So in the scrutiny also you will be able to verify. If you can get it, nothing like it. Then schedule of investment, that we have already seen. What is the fixed deposit, amount invested, actually received, interest due during the year. Annexure J, schedule of NPA. K, loan taken by the society if they are taken. List of directors who were absent. Statement of misappropriation. If there is a misappropriation, you can take. If it is not there, you can straight away write no. So that a report has come from the society also. So if they know that some FIR has been lost, so we come to know that somebody has done the fraud. And when you ask this type of certificate from the society, they will be more alert. Schedule of loans and advances to the members, including overdue. Schedule of arbitration. If there are any case laws, yes, you can write. There are some societies which go for arbitration, or there may be some civil suit pending. There may be high court cases pending. So it helps you. Schedule of closing stock, if there are anything. List of movable and immovable properties. So you can say that we have physically verified so and so asset like furniture, fixture or computer, whatever. Contracts, if there are any contracts, so you know how many contracts the society has entered into, repairing contract or AMCs or firefighting system contracts. So CCTV contracts, intercom, all that. Cases filed by the society, if there is any cases filed for the recovery, these are the columns based on which you can verify and get the information. So these are the information to be collected from the housing societies for the purpose of audit. So the audit report is liable for scrutiny. So therefore it is also important for us to see how they are accountable and responsible and why we should see that. So okay, let me just take you through. So the Cooperative Commissioner on 4th May 2020 has written to the various auditors instructions to be given to all the regional office with reference to presentation of the audit department before the Honorable Commission for Cooperation. So the audit report requires to be carried out, it has to be scrutinized. So what is the circular says? Circular says one is scrutiny of audit report, second is rectification report, scrutiny of returns filed by the society under section 79. So that means all the three scrutiny has to be carried out by the district special auditor. See, district special auditor. There is a district special auditor. Every district, the way we have a district deputy registrar, there is a separate wing called district special auditor. जितने भी district deputy registrar है, तो उतने ही district special auditors है. What is the job of the district special auditor? Are you aware of this? You are not aware. So every district there is a district special auditor. It is a parallel department. मान लो 20,000 deputy registrars staff is there. At least 10,000 audit department staff is available across Maharashtra. So if there are 36 districts, so there are 36 district special auditors. And above the district special auditor, there is a joint auditors. जैसे divisional joint registrar है, वैसे ही divisional joint auditors are there. Okay, then there is an additional registrar for audit. So this way, see, that is why it is written additional register audit, district special auditor, and even there is a divisional joint registrar. There are 9 divisions in Maharashtra. So in every division there is a divisional joint registrar. Then there is an additional registrar for entire Maharashtra. So audit wing is a separate wing in cooperative department. Now earlier this auditor used to carry out the audit by themselves because they were the departmental auditors and never used to be carried out by outsider. Now after the 97th constitutional amendment, they are also part of the panel auditors
and they are also doing the audit. Even the private person is also doing the audit. So now they are given a special responsibility to scrutinize the audit report. So they have to scrutinize the audit report, they have to scrutinize the rectification report, they have to also scrutinize the returns filed by the societies. Now there is a circular dated 22nd August 2015 prescribed but not followed up. I don't know whether you have seen this circular. 22nd August 2015 there is a circular issued by the Cooperative Commissioner as to what district special auditor should do, how they should scrutinize the audit report. According to the Cooperative Commissioner, these instructions are not followed by the DSS, District Special Auditor. So he has asked, the current commissioner has asked them to do it once again. Instruction as to appointment of auditor for the purpose of confirmation of audit of cooperative society. That means section 79(1)(b), return of appointment of auditors, and whether their appointment is done as per the law, that is to be verified. Acceptance of the audit report, that means once the audit is carried out, whether the audit report has been issued by the department, and third is rectification of the report. So these are the three important things which was given in circular dated 22nd August 2015, which according to the Cooperative Commissioner is not followed up properly. So what he has to do? As I said, in the scrutiny there are three things which he need to look into. Now, one, instruction regarding appointment of auditor, acceptance of the audit report and rectification report. When I say acceptance of the audit report means compliance, completion of the audit, whether that has been done or not. How many societies still pending for the audit? Now, in so far as appointment of auditors for the purpose of auditor cooperative society, what he has to do? To collect the list of societies who have appointed the auditors under section 181(1)(a) and section 75(2)(a). What is section 75(2)(a)? Is the appointment of auditors should be done in the general body. Current year auditor has to be appointed in the general body, and section 81(1)(a) says the society should appoint the auditor in the general body from the panel of auditors. So whether the compliance of that has been done or not, okay, for the year 1920, because it was for the 20th, 2021, every year this type of scrutiny is happening. To submit the list of such societies who have not appointed the auditor. So now there are about, let us say, we have 1,20,000 cooperative societies in Maharashtra. Every district there are number of auditors societies are different. In Mumbai we have 35,000 housing societies. So whether 35,000 housing society, how many auditors have been appointed, and whether the appointment is as per the circular and the sections, and then who have not appointed. Registrar pass order under section proviso 81(1)(a). Section 81(1)(a) says that if the society fails to appoint the auditor and they do not file the return of appointment of auditor, then the registrar, that is the district deputy registrar, has to appoint the auditor. Here the registrar means district deputy registrar. For an audit, registrar is district deputy registrar. For other, there may be deputy registrar or assistant registrar. Approximately 90,000 societies have not appointed till date, which is a matter of concern. According to the commissioner's circular, in that year, because societies appoint the auditor but they don't file the return of appointment. Because they don't file the return of appointment, societies commissioner does not come to know. Regarding the audit of cooperative societies, regarding the audit, now this is regarding appointment, what he should do. Secondly, regarding the audit, district special auditor to collect the detailed data along with the reasons for non-compliance of audit to register who take necessary action. That means if the society auditor has accepted the audit, why he has not carried out the audit, and then issue the show cause notice to the auditor and take necessary action against the auditor and the society. DS and register to carry out survey regarding existence of society and ensure about their auditing. So the registrar also need to look into whether those societies are in existence or not. Now the third and most important, online scrutiny of return filed as per provision section 79(1)(a) and 79(1)(b). This also, if the auditor need to find out so that he will be able to scrutinize. Section 79(1)(a), society shall file its return within 6 months from the close of financial year to the registrar as per rule 67 in the prescribed form. There is a form Y. Have you seen this form Y? You have seen. Many of you may not have seen form Y. So in the form Y, there is a covering letter in which the society submits the returns. So if you see form Y also gives you an indication. Then section 79(4), the register shall scrutinize the returns and inform so received and take the further action if necessary. Section 79(4) also says that whatever returns are submitted that need to be scrutinized by the registrar. Now how the registrar scrutinizes? Through the DSA. As per circular 79(1)A dated so and so, DSA and register comply online scrutiny of returns so filed. It has been observed by this office that there is a lack of implementation of such instruction, which is a matter of concern. Regarding rectification, rectification is also very important thing which need to be done. Rectification report under section 82, though it is an important aspect, has been neglected till date. To obtain at least all rectification report of the financial year 2017, 18, 18, 19 and to take further necessary action. As per the circular issued by this office dated 22nd August 2000, shall start taking immediate action regarding completion of all compliances of submission of rectification report of such societies. So even the rectification report is also very important thing. Last is scrutiny of audit report. This is where we are coming. It has been observed that as on date, so many financial trouble. They are in financial trouble because especially credit societies. Since the appointment audit is vested with the cooperative society, audit of such concerns are not carried out with that quality, and since the true and correct status of such societies are not informed to the members in time, resulted into failure of taking corrective measures in time, due to which number of societies coming in sudden financial crisis are increasing. That means credit societies are finding very difficult, and because there is no timely audit, so many issues come up. To take proper and timely action against such cooperative financial society in accordance with the provisions of the Act and the basis of scrutiny report issued from the audit report. After scrutiny, all such non-compliant issues are required to be incorporated in the audit scrutiny report. With respect to urban cooperative bank, the audit scrutiny should include the important issues as per the RBI's inspection report. Work scrutiny of audit report has to be done in accordance with the instruction issued on 23rd October 2018. So there is another circular issued on 23rd October 2018 as to how the scrutiny has to be done, audit report scrutiny has to be done. Registrar, after receipt of such special report under 81(5)(b) has to take action for fixing the financial responsibility. It has been observed that many times no timely actions have been taken on such special reports so received. All district special district auditors are hereby instructed to keep an updated register of all special reports so received in the last financial year. So these are the instructions which are given. Action to be taken in case of specific report. Specific report means when there is a fraud. Till December there are 105 specific reports to which no criminal action has been taken. All district special auditors are hereby instructed to take immediate submit society-wise information, complete the above referred work properly to submit this action report to this office. So this is how things are happening. Now instructions to be considered while scrutinizing audit report of 23rd October 2018. So what are the things one need to look into as per this report? Let us go through that. In the scrutiny report, the name of the society, area of operation, audit year and period, name and panel number of the original auditor, audit class, name and designation of the officer, employee, should be mentioned. That means first and foremost, who is carrying out the audit, what is the name of the society, who is the auditor, whether the audit classification of that society, whether the same audit is doing, who is the original auditor, name, designation, if there are person who is carrying out the scrutiny, his name and designation. Remarks should be given in the scrutiny report that whether composition of audit report is in accordance with the circular. So there is another circular dated 9th May 2017. So whether remarks are given in the scrutiny report as per the, whether the common audit report is according with the circular. So whether the audit report is in accordance with this circular. So that means this circular also you need to go through. Remarks should be given in the scrutiny report that whether the questionnaire form 1 and society wise questionnaire to be submitted to the audit report is filed properly or not. That means whatever the audit report scrutiny forms are there, form number 1 and form number 7 now for housing society. So what is this question here? Question is nothing but whatever 56 documents that we called for, whether that has been complied or not. So in that report or that form, it is better even you take the signature of the society, so that it is understood that even the society has accepted that. There is no column for taking the signature of the society, because there is one column whether you are discussed with the society. So you can say yes. So as a matter of fact, once the report is prepared, the way we are taking the signature on the balance sheet, we can take on form number 1 and 7 also, so that they are confirm the information, so that we are also safeguarded there. According to the provisions of section 81(1)(e), whether details of the errors, irregularity noticed in the audit report, financial irregularity, misuse of funds, misappropriation or fraud, modus operandi in this regard, etc. are mentioned in the audit report or not. So even that will be looked into, scrutinized by the special auditor. Similarly, whether the irregularity in the accounts of the society with corresponding effects in the profit and loss account, and also detailed elucidation of the matters affecting the financial return is made in the audit report or not. Remarks should also be given in this respect. The remarks should be given in the scrutiny report, that whether the concerned auditor by inspection, the working of the committee and subcommittee of the society has been fixed the responsibility regarding the matters irregularity and violation or not. So that means you have to go through the managing committee reports, you have to go through the managing committee minutes, subcommittee minutes if it is there. Whether the auditor is mentioned in his remark properly in conformity with the point 1 to 9 in section 81(2) of the Act or not, proper remarks should be given in the scrutiny report in this area. That means he is going to the report, from that report he understands whether you have done proper scrutiny or not, whether you have carried out or not, because he does not have any other thing. Your audit report is going to be base for him to verify. So therefore we have to go through that report properly, and we have to report in such a way that somebody understands. If the auditor is noticed embezzlement malpractices at the time of auditing, then stipulated report under section 81(5)(b) has been given or not. Due remark in this regard. Whether the auditor certificate in form N2 issued. See, there is a format given by the rules as to how the audit report has to be there. So that also is in N2 form. Whether the appointment by the auditor and the consent given by the auditor is according to the provisions of Rule 69. As I said, the class of society, class of auditor. Whether any remark has to be given. Whether the concerned auditor by completing the audit in the due period according to the provisions, whether he has completed the audit in a given period. Okay. Whether the note at the necessary place in the audit report is given or not given. Is there any government resolution which has been violated? Is there any provisions in the MCS Act which has been violated, not taken into account? All this need to be put in our remark. So this circular I would request you to go through once again. After scrutiny of the audit report, the concerned auditor while conducting the audit, if made fault in duty as the auditor, then separate self-explanatory remarks should be mentioned in the scrutiny report. Similarly, according to the details in the audit report, if there seems any action is required against the society, then the separate explanatory report. So that means action to be taken against the auditor, action to be taken against the society, also required to be given by the special auditor. Whether the remarks given by the auditor according to the marks table of the audit classification. There are certain audit classification marks also. As far as housing society, there is no audit classification mark, but we can also prepare one audit classification marks if you so desire. But this is also very important. 13 points. While scrutinizing the audit report of the Urban Bank, while reviewing the circulatory instruction issued by the Reserve Bank of India, if it is found that the violation of any instruction is made, then the remark in this respect will be given. Similarly, verifying NPA and other things. So these are the things which need to be looked into at the time of audit. Accounting standards. So even for a cooperative society, accounting standards are applicable. You know what is accounting standard? बहुत सारे लोगों को मालूम नहीं होगा. Okay, this is the standard prepared by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Accounting standards. That means how the account has to be presented. there is certain standards, there are certain specification given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants. So therefore this is actually applicable to the companies, but now it is applicable even to the cooperative societies. So what is accounting standard? Written by policy issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. It covers aspects of recognition, what are the each item of expenditure or income, asset and liability, how to recognize it and how it should be treated. Measurement means whether it is important or not important, and how it should be presented, and disclosure. Ultimately presentation, disclosure, recognition, treatment, everything comes to know once you disclose. So whether it needs disclosure, that means in the balance sheet and in the profit and loss account, notes to the accounts also we need to specify, which we find in the companies. This one, it is also applicable in the cooperative society, which we are not doing. Secondly, objective is what? The objective is uniformity, comparability, standardized set of accounting policies, more reliability. So in order to have this reliability, standardization, uniform, and it can be compared from one society to another society or class of society, this is done. Benefits, it reductions in confusion, it is easy comparison, disclosure of all information by the statute. Limitation, alternative solutions. Sometimes accounting standards cannot override the statute. Suppose form number 7N is there. So what is mentioned in the statute is important, not what is mentioned in the accounting standards. Accounting standards always, the law supersedes. Accounting standards, one is issued by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Issued standards, there are about 32 standards. Accounting Standard Board, which is set up by again the institute, which is issuing. There are about 31 standards notified, and notified standards are 29. So these are a draft prepared by the accounting standard after comments from the experts. National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. This is how the accounting standards are there. These are the list of accounting standards. Disclosure of accounting policy, that means how the accounting is done. Valuation of inventory, cash flow statement, contingencies, net profit and loss period, depreciation accounting, accounting for construction contract, revenue recognition, accounting for fixed assets, effects of changes in foreign exchange rates, accounting for government grants, accounting for investment, accounting for amalgamation, employee benefits, borrowing costs. These are various accounting standards. Segment reporting, related party disclosure, leases, earning per share, consolidated financial statement, accounting for taxes on income, accounting for investment in assets in consolidated financial statement, discontinued operations, interim financial reporting, intangible assets, financial reporting of interest in joint ventures, impairment of assets, provisions, contingent liabilities, contingent assets, financial instruments, recognition, measurement, financial instruments, presentation, financial disclosures. So these are the 32 accounting standards which have been available. Deadlines to be met as per the MCS Act. Now let us look at the accounting standards and how the deadlines to be met under the MCS Act. Rule 61, preparation of annual statement of accounts. You must have already written rule number 61. If you are not written, it is the responsibility of the society. Correct? Then 45 days from the close 45 days from the close of the financial, that means by 15th of May, account should be completed, correct? Which is given in rule number 61. Okay, how to know that whether the society is completed in 45 days or not? That means you have to ask for the minutes. By 15th of May का minutes के अंदर उन्होंने presentation किया कि नहीं किया? If it is not done, then you have to write that as per rule number 21, it should have been done within 45 days. It is not done. It has been done after 60 days, and call for the explanation. And society has given this reason that accountant was ill, chairman was out of station, जो भी है. Rule number 69, 1A and B, audit of accounts. 4th month from the close of year before 31st July. बराबर है? Rule number 69 में दिया है ना? In rule number 69 it has been said, even in the MCS Act 81, 1A also it has said that audit should be completed by within 4 months from the close of financial year. That means by 31st July. Submission of the audit report. Auditor has to give the audit report within 1 month from completion of the audit. That means by August. 31st August we have to bring the audit report.
But say if the documents society has not submitted proper documents.
I understand. These things you need to bring out in the audit report. That audit should have been completed because they are given late, we could not complete. Informations have not come. At least there has to be communication between
Yes.
and the society. So जो auditor appoint हो गया, immediately you should, in the month of April itself, you should send the requirement. Tell them that by 41st this one, these are the compliance to be done, please comply and give us. Audit to be carried out by the accounting standards. There is a accounting standards. Section 81(2) says auditing has to be as per the accounting standards. Whichever 32 accounting standards we have said. Submit specific report. There has to be specific report within 1 month from the completion of audit, or in any case before issuance of AGM notice. Audit rectification report, section rule number 73, section 82 says it should be done within 3 months from the completion of the audit. So these are the various compliances. Now you can just read. On 6th May 2014, the government has come out with the notification. Whereas accounting standards are written documents, policy document issued by ICAI, New Delhi, a body constituted by the Act of Parliament for the growth and regulation of the accounting profession in India, covering aspects of recognition, measurement, treatment, presentation and disclosure of accounting transaction in the financial statements. ये सब ने मैंने डिस्कस किया. Covering aspects of recognition, measurement, treatment, presentation and disclosure of accounting transaction in the financial. Objectives of the accounting standard is to standardize the diverse accounting policy and practices with a view to eliminate the extent possible the non-comparability of financial statement and to ensure correct accounting treatment. And whereas it is primary responsibility of the management of the cooperative society. Whose responsibility it is? Management responsibility to ensure compliance with the accounting standards. While preparing the financial statements of cooperative society, while discharging their attest functions, it will be the duty. While discharging their attest function means auditor. While discharging their attest functions, it will be the duty of the statutory auditor of cooperative society or cooperative bank to examine whether accounting standards are complied with the presentation of financial data as may be aware of such a deviation. That means whether the accounting which is prepared is in line with the accounting standards. That also need to be looked into. This is as per the government circular dated 6th May 2014. There is already a circular to that effect. This is a circular. While considering the need to harmonize diverse accounting policy and practices and also considering about legal requirement and in exercise of the post confined section clause 4 sub rule 4 of rule number 69 of the MCS Act, the government of Maharashtra hereby notifies accounting standards issued by the ICAI New Delhi are applicable to cooperative society and cooperative banks. That means now the accounting standards have become applicable. Up till now, the ICAI New Delhi has issued 1 to 29 mandatory accounting standards. These accounting standards are issued and updated by the ICAI New Delhi from time to time and available on the website. For the applicability of accounting standards, cooperative society and cooperative banks are classified in 3 different societies. Now, all accounting standards are not applicable to all societies. So, 29 accounting standards, which are the accounting standards applicable? So, there is a level 1 society. Okay, who are the level 1 societies? These are the level 1 societies. Okay, all cooperative banks, cooperative society whose turnover is exceeding 50 crore or cooperative societies having borrowing including repo exceed 10 crore at any time. So, there is a class society where which are the accounting standards are applicable, that is A class. Level 2, all societies having turnover excluding other income exceeding 1 crore but does not exceed 50 crore. Or all cooperatives having borrowing exceeding 1 crore but does not exceed 10 crore. So, second level. Third level are all cooperative societies which are not covered on 1 and 2. So, cooperative housing society falls in level 3. Now, level 1, these are the accounting standards. Almost all the accounting standards are applicable to level 1. Few accounting standards are applicable to level 2. Level 3, other accounting standards. That is 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 22, 26, 28, 29. So exemption in applicability of AS 19, 20, 28 and 29 to level 2 and level 3 cooperative are as under. So there are exemptions also. Now what is exempted is given. So in other words, what I am trying to say is, henceforth all auditor and auditing firm, those are conducting audit of any cooperative societies under subsection 1 of 81, should clearly state in their audit memorandum that the accounting policy and procedure adopted by the society is consistent with the above mandatory accounting standards as applicable to concern or otherwise and has no adverse effect on the accounting financial. ये हमको report करना है. So one has to look into what is our role as an auditor. Now having understood that there is a accounting standards, what is accounting standards? We also understood there is a government notification on 6th May 2014 that accounting standards are applicable to 3 different level of societies. Now as an auditor, what we need to do? Check if the society has followed all relevant accounting standards. This is our job. In case of any deviation, opine the same and providing audit report under sections standards on auditing number 700. Evaluating the appropriateness of the accounting policy used, the reasonableness of the accounting estimates made by the society, overall presentation of the financial statement. When we state the above matter, it is presumed that accounting standards are taken into consideration while assessing the financial statement. In case of a change of order, it is necessary to see if the earlier year financial comply with the accounting standards before submitting the audit report. So this is what we need to look into. That means whether accounts are done as per the accounting standards. Okay? Today I think that is enough. I will not ask you to write the accounting standards because that will take a long time and you will not understand the accounting standards. So if required, we will see what are the important accounting standards applicable to housing societies. But these are the important thing. Okay, these PPTs we will share with you. Okay? So today it is, now there is a auditing standards that also we can see standards on auditing. Now as far as the Institute of Chartered Accountants is concerned, now auditing standards are also applicable to auditor of a cooperative societies. Now this is not that I am saying. Notification regarding applicability of standards on auditing for the cooperative audits. Again, this is a circular issued by the cooperative department. Now let us go to the notifications regarding applicability of standards on auditing for the cooperative societies. So the cooperative department has notified. Now introduction and definition. The more you follow the principles, the more your business will be fruitful. That is to say, nothing can go without following its own principles. There is no exception of these rules regarding the auditing. So an auditor is to follow some principles, guidelines and methods during the audit of activities. So these are known as accounting standards. A principle, a procedure that need to be followed is known as auditing standards. So that means a particular audit has to be done in a particular manner. Among these which are internationally accepted practice are known as international standards on auditing. Definition of auditing standards. Generally, auditing standards indicate the evaluation of quality of auditing activities accepted and performed in any organization. In other words, the principles and methods followed by an auditor appointed in audit to perform his duty very effectively are known as auditing standard. In summary, it may be said that principles and methods followed during the audit activities with a view to bring the uniform in the word audit are known as auditing standard. So that means auditing has to be done in a particular manner. Now, why auditing standards are important? Auditing standards are mandatory to be followed by the practitioners under the direction issued by the Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. If not comply with the auditing standards in performing assurance engagement, CA shall be held guilty of professional misconduct under Schedule 2 of CA Act 1949. So the auditing standards is prescribed by the Institute of Chartered Accountants how the auditing has to be done. As per section 143(9) of the Companies Act, every auditor shall comply with the accounting auditing standards. So in the cooperatives also there is certain standards. So 12th August 2014, in exercise of the powers conferred by the subsection 2 of section 81 of the MCAs Act, the government of Maharashtra hereby notifies the auditing standards number mentioned in column 2 of the schedule appended here to being auditing standards specified by the Institute of Chartered Accountants and explained in detail in column 3 of the said schedule to be the standards for audit of accounts of cooperative under the said Act. That means Cooperative Department in the year 2014, 12th August has notified that auditing of the cooperative societies also need to be done as per the auditing standards. Is it clear now? That means it is not that I am saying, it is as per the notification issued by the government by exercising powers under section 2 of section 81. Now next is, what are the auditing standards? Now auditing standards starts with auditing standard number 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260. Overall objective of the independent auditor and the conduct of audit in accordance with the standards on auditing. Agreeing the terms of audit engagement. Quality control for audit of financial statements. Audit documentation. Whatever I was saying, what are the documents to be taken, which we discussed in the morning. That is about the audit documentation. Auditor response relating to fraud in the audit of financial statement. Consideration of laws and regulations in audit of financial statement. Communication with those charged with the governance. So these are the various auditing standards which are applicable to, auditing, and everything is applicable for all the class of societies. Level 1, level 2, level 3 idhar nahi hai. Here every 265 is communication, deficiency in internal control to those charged with the governance and management, charged hai wo. Responsibility of the joint auditor, planning and audit of financial statement, identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement through understanding the entry of and its environment, materiality in planning and performing of an audit, auditor response to assessed risk, audit considering relating to entity using service organization, evaluation of misstatement identified during the audit. These are the various auditing standards. Now, audit evidence. Audit evidence specific consideration for selected item, external confirmations, initial audit engagement, opening balances, analytical procedure, audit sampling, audit accounting estimates, related parties, subsequent events, going concern, written representation. हम लोग written representation ले रहे हैं ना? Using the work of another auditor, using the work of internal auditor, using the work of external auditors, experts, forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements, modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report, emphasis of matter paragraphs and other matter paragraphs in the independent auditor report, comparative information, corresponding figures. So these are the various auditing standards. अभी जब टाइम मिलेगा तो आप पढ़ लेना. The auditor's responsibility in relation to other information documents containing audited financial statement, audit of financial statement prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework, special consideration, audit of single financial statement, specific elements, accounts or items of financial engagements to report on summary financial statement. That's it. So these are the 37 accounting standards which you need to look into. So today I think we will conclude. So next time we will see how the audit report has to be prepared. Santosh, फॉर्म नंबर 1 and 7 ले लेना, उसका पीपीटी बना देना, एंड वेयर इज ऑडिट रिपोर्ट, हाउ वी डू. ठीक है, सो नेक्स्ट टाइम वील डिस्कस. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच. कोई क्वेश्चन? एस यू सेड ड्यूरिंग द ऑडिट, yes, these are the compliance whether the auditor has done or properly or not. As a in the you are this one, you can always point out, there is no problem.
Sure.
ठीक है. Anything else? Any questions? Accounting standard, auditing standards, standards on auditing.
Can anybody adopt any other standard other than prescribed?
See, people don't go with the prescribed standards. They are adopting their own standards. I agree, but you need to then qualify as an auditor. You are right, it cannot be. When they are prescribed standards, you have to go by the prescribed standards. But practically, people don't know what is standards, how it is implemented. They adopt their own standards.
Because there are American standards, there are some other standards.
Yeah. Forget about American standards, this standard, that standard. But people don't, they have their own standards. See, it is called one society will adopt their own standard. Another society will adopt their own standard. So there is no standards for them. So whatever they do is their standard. So therefore in such cases we need to tell the society that this you cannot do. You need to report that at least in your audit report. ठीक है? It is very difficult. Accounting standards on auditing is not as easy. Entire final year chartered accountants course. Okay. So auditing standard itself is full final year CA course, one subject. Another is accounting standard. So only accounting standard is in the final year, final CA syllabus. So it is not that easy to understand and digest. It's very tough. But at the same time, for our audit in a housing society, what is applicable when we are doing the reporting, we will tell you, or I will tell you how it is comparison and what need to be looked into. ठीक है? अभी मैंने आपको दिखाया स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग. उसमें क्या लिखा है? यू हैव टू टेक द रिप्रेजेंटेशन. अभी क्या होता है कि व्हेन आई एम डूइंग ऑडिट, okay, I am collecting all the information. They have to tell that I have given this information. One. That means tomorrow they cannot say that this information is not given by me. So one, I need a documentary evidence that these are the information supplied by him. One. Secondly, what happens when they are doing the accounts or anything, when they give a management representation, what we demand? We demand what we need to report. Like how many managing committee meetings you had, how many general body you had, who are the committee members. All this information we demand. How you are charging sinking fund, how you are invested the sinking fund, what are the things you have done, give me the activities, whether you have filed 79 returns or you are not filed. So I am taking the representation so that tomorrow they cannot say that you have not consulted us. You have done your own reporting. Suppose I give a report that 79A, 1A returns, 6 returns, you are not filed. How you know that you are not filed? Because this is the information given by them. Suppose he says that I have filed the return, then I will say, show me the return. If they say that we have invested 10 lakhs in the sinking fund, in the management representation. What is management representation? Giving us the information about the activities that they have carried out. I have invested 10 lakhs in the sinking fund. ठीक है, show me. So I will be able to verify. समझ में आया? So management representation gives us a comfort that this is what they have done. And then as an auditor, I will cross check. What they have given is right or wrong. And if they have given wrong, then I will report. If they have given right, that also I will report. ठीक है? How you will know that when was the election conducted unless until the society gives me the information. Society will say, no, this is the year in which the election has been done. These are the committee members, these are the office bearers, these are the decisions that we have taken. All this comes in the management report. You have seen management representation letter? Bro?
But in that, sir, we write information about conveyance deed also.
Yeah, all the information you will write. What is required, huh?
We have got form and monuments and everything in the management.
हाँ, तो चाहिए तो नेक्स्ट टाइम वो भी डिस्कस करेंगे. हाँ, तो मैनेजमेंट रिप्रेजेंटेशन लेटर भी ले लो इनके पास फॉर्मेट, हाउ दे आर डूइंग. ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच. और कुछ?
Sir, appointment of auditor should be done in AGM only.
या ठीक. Yes,
Appointment of auditor should be done in AGM only.
correct.
Now there was one practical case where the society had mentioned that auditor will be appointed as per the panel. they are not specified who will be appointed, sir. So in resolution, so in the resolution, the wordings were that auditor will be appointed as per the, from the panel. And there was nothing mentioned about who will be appointed. So whether that is a valid appointment, can we accept it?
No, it has to be, no doubt, all the auditor has to be appointed from the panel. The general body has to specify the name of the auditor whom they will appoint. Now, if there is some anomaly like this from the panel, they may authorize the managing committee to appoint the auditor from the panel. That means that is what they are doing, which is again wrong. Certain delegation cannot be done to the managing committee, because managing committee is the person who is doing the accounts. They are the people who are discharging their duties. Now, it is the general body has to appoint an independent auditor. If the managing committee, suppose I am doing some activity and I am appointing my own friend to carry out what I have done is right or wrong, that means there is going to be a compromise. There can be, understood, no?
Yes.
There can be manipulation. There can be compromise. So if general body appoints an independent auditor, of course, these names are recommended by the managing committee, all this I agree. But the law prescribes that appointment has to be done by the general body. ठीक है? Or if the general body does not or have not appointed, then you have to go to the registrar and the registrar will appoint the auditor. Section 81, 1A is very clear that it is the society general body who has to appoint the auditor, and the society fails to appoint, then the registrar will appoint.
So they can even call SGM and they can.
Yeah, they can appoint, call in the special general body meeting and appoint. ठीक है? Okay, thank you very much. Good day.